Hi, Fashion Dolls. It is finally Fierce Female Friday, September 15th, and welcome to an all new episode of Style by Stevie. Please excuse my tardiness, you guys, but things were moving kind of slow. Our very special guest has been on the show previously. This will be his third time coming back to the Dollhouse, and I'm super excited to have him here. Ladies and gentlemen, Cody Cowell. Hello. Please excuse my tardiness. I had to make sure that everything was set up right, but welcome, welcome.
Hey, Stevie.
It is such a pleasure to have you back here. This is your third time coming back
Is it my third? Okay. Wow. Nice.
because we already did two already.
Okay. Fantastic.
So before we get into this interview, we know the year is halfway out. How has 2023 been for you so far?
Um, Overall, it's been pretty good. There have definitely been some challenges, but I look at everything when challenges come in, what are you going to do? Are you going to allow it to affect you the wrong way, or are you going to take action in ways to make it better? And so I've taken a lot of action during all of the crazy stuff that's going on and definitely made it better. I'm working out and training, preparing a lot for a variety of different jobs coming up. And so I just want to be ready to be able to say yes if it's a quick, or if I do have more time to prepare, that I'm ready. And yeah, I'm healthy and strong, and my kids are doing really, really well. And that's always a plus, happy dad, happy kids. So, or
Yes.
happy kids, happy dad. But so yeah, so I'm really doing my best. I definitely there've been some down times and everything, and I've had to go deep inside to figure out what it takes to bring myself out. And thankfully, my children have been a big help with that. I have a
Yeah.
close knit group of friends that have helped with that. And then going inside myself and working on figuring out ways to get myself out of the hole. And it's nice to be out. And I appreciate, again, when you have a challenges, it shows who your true friends are.
And it has definitely been difficult for a
Yeah.
lot of actors. Touch on that. What's up, Cody? Long time brother, and that is some Scott Sellers.
With what now?
That comment right there. The comments are coming in. I see you,
Oh,
Scott, and shout outs to my girl Triple Essentials. Hey,
hi
girl.
everybody.
Make sure you guys go and check her out. She has amazing body care products,
Oh
and
wow,
I love
nice.
me some Triple Essentials. Y'all make sure y'all go and check her out. Everything from deodorant. She makes her own soaps. Make
Wow,
sure you guys go and check her
that's
out. Had to plug
great.
that in there right as well. All
And
right.
thanks for everybody
So
coming on to Style by Stevie. I really appreciate the support, and I thank you all for coming on and checking us out.
And that was going to be my next question for you. How does it feel to be showered by all of this love, all of this support?
Uh, it feels great, you know. Um, so I was talking to a friend of mine that is also in the business, and this goes across the board. It's not just, my business of acting, but it's personally on or professionally and whatever. With me, um, it feels really good to have found people, and I'm just gonna go with professional side because we talked about my friends and family that helped me and everything. And I call 1%. And for me to have made it in this business, I needed to find people that believed in me enough that when the money came on, they would keep me and not go with somebody else. And I've finally found them, and I call them my 1%. And so I take it as I'm 99% self-made. I do all my contracts and I negotiate and submit myself because I still do everything on my own, no representation for that. So, but to have made it, I just needed that 1%, which doesn't sound like a lot, but is huge. And so it feels incredible to have people that once I get the job and I get to know them and we talk about things where they said, it's nice to know like there were hundreds to thousands of people that we were, looking at, and eventually it came down to not just me as an actor, but me also personally. Like they genuinely liked me. And they said that was a big deciding factor. So yeah, it feels really great when people believe in you and things start to change and you get over that, whatever your hurdle is, whether that's personally or
Yeah.
professionally. So yeah, it feels incredible, and I'm very excited and very anxious to get going.
And we talked about, it's so crazy you mentioned that because we talked about
Yeah.
challenges this week, not too long ago, and overcoming these obstacles. What
Mhm.
advice would you give to actors out here doing it independently? Because it's not easy when you're doing it on your own, like you
Yeah.
said, and you have no management or team behind you. You're doing that independently. What advice would you give to them?
I would say get creative in the sense I know people that have representation and they have good representation, but that's all they do. And so when I've talked to them, I was like, "Oh, are you doing this? Are you doing that?" Nope. And I went, "Oh, okay." So don't wait for someone to do it for you. Take the steps, take the action, go online, search out different places. There's a lot of incredible ways that you can connect with people online through different social sites. And that's what I do on a daily basis. I go on, I search people, I check in with people, I submit, I look for specific projects that I like, but I don't wait for a manager and I don't wait for an agent because also don't have one. Okay, I do have one, but nothing's really going on. So I'm giving that person a shot. We'll see what happens. Fingers crossed. It's never happened to this day. So when you talk to people, you're going to get, pretty individual stories. My individual story is I've done everything on my own. And because of that, it gives me great appreciation for where I'm at and what I'm doing. So for the people that are out there that are also trying to make it, don't think you have to have representation to make it, because I'm a prime example that you don't. But you have to put yourself out there.
And a lot of people are agreeing with you in the comments. Shout outs to Electin, who's an amazing artist. And I've known Electin for years. So make sure you guys go and check him out. It is good to see you. Shout outs to Jay Evans. Make sure you guys go and check out his platform. He does a lot of commentary on what's going on in the world of reality TV. So
Mm,
make sure you guys head on over and check out Jay Evans. And he also does music as well too. We did a music panel together, me, him, and my brother K2.
nice.
So you guys make sure y'all go and check that out. I was smiling the whole time Cody was talking because Rocket Mama, her comment just tickled me inside. She says they need guacamole. So
Yeah, yeah. Hey Tina, that's
that
that's
was
her name. Is
funny.
she's a good friend. She's really nice and just an incredible person.
And she says you did it. That it's not easy running a business or a brand by yourself. I
Yeah,
do it independently, but I
yeah,
do have my team,
right,
my makeup artist, my beauty contributor,
right.
Melanie, she's there helping me.
Yeah,
And others helping and encouraging me along the way too.
right,
Colleagues that do the same thing that I do, like K Tukes, like Jay
right.
Evans,
Yeah,
like Kenny Stallings, like Bubs got so many others that help me along
yeah,
the way and give me advice and pointers here or there. So it's always good to have people in your circle
yeah,
surrounding you 100%, as well as electing and a
yeah,
few others they've given me advice. And before I've gotten over my cockiness and let my ego in the
yeah.
way when I first
Of course.
started, but now I'm just like, be willing to accept the constructive criticism that
Yeah,
people are
yeah,
giving you along the way.
yeah,
And so far, it's been helpful. So,
yeah. No, it's true. I've not gotten jobs because of little things that didn't fit. And it wasn't about my acting. It could have been my hair was too long. It could have been like, just whatever. So taking that in a positive way, and I agree with you 100%. Lose your ego. That's the biggest thing because people will pick up on that. I would say a big part of I'm achieving what I'm achieving too, which is really hard for me, and I think other people as well. Without a doubt, it's not a single thing. Is I really had to get in touch with my vulnerability, and that was a big step for me personally and professionally. Being able to tap into that without the ego and use it to my advantage and be able to show people because I'm a big guy, so I'll get stereotyped pretty quick. And playing different characters that aren't physically intimidating or
Right.
nasty, and playing the softer side and the happy side and allowing that part of you to come out is very challenging. But I got there and it's still out of my comfort zone, 100%. I'm always uncomfortable doing it, but I learned how to use it to my advantage. And so, yeah, I totally agree. The ego thing and then trying to find that whatever that vulnerability side that you would need to tap into to allow, because people pick up on that, and I feel it's really addicting to people when they see that you are genuinely allowing yourself to open up to somebody, and that's a great quality to be able to use.
And Scott Sellers says, don't expect anyone to do for you what you are not willing to do
Yeah,
yourself. I agree with that wholeheartedly, 100%.
yeah,
You're the only, and like you said that, you're the only person who's literally capable of getting it done.
right.
If you are doing it on your own, if you're independent and you're creating your own films, your own projects, it's a lot of work
Oh,
that goes into it, and people have to
yeah,
realize that.
yeah,
It takes a village, it takes a team to help you out here and there, but you got to be willing to accept that help. And me,
yeah,
I've learned to just, like you said, put that ego to the
yeah,
side and be willing to ask people for help. Because I think
yeah,
it's a Scorpio thing
yeah.
where we don't really want to try to be independent and we try to
Yeah,
do it on our own. But the thing is, the key trick is you got to be willing to ask people to help you out.
yeah,
And throughout the years, I'm willing and open to receive the constructive criticism.
right.
Whereas before, in my younger years, when I first started this platform, I'm just like, nah, I think I got this. But
I
now it's
got
just
it.
like,
And then you're like,
you know,
oh,
people,
damn it.
right.
Should have said yes. Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. My when I was probably in middle school, my oldest brother Chris came up to me and he goes, "You a leader or follower?" So of course, being the little brat that I was, I go, "I'm a leader, of course." And then he said, "Why?" And I was completely thrown by that. Didn't expect that one. And then I thought about it and I went, "Because I know when to lead and I know when to follow." And he said, "Exactly." And so that comes down to, yeah, allowing help. And that's always been something that has definitely been a challenge on my side too. But having that help and having that teamwork is essential. Like the you have to believe that they are doing their part. And so there's a project that I'm on coming up some point this year, and it's called Forsaken Past. And the writer and director is John Richardson. And I was just talking with him last night. And the one thing I said when I was done is I just said, I just want you to know how much I appreciate, because I know a little bit of what it takes to get things done. People will, give me updates and stuff like that. But I said, I have no clue how busy you are, but I just want you to know that how much I appreciate it. And I don't want to be one more thing that you have to be aware of. So when I reach out to you, it's more or less to say, hey, great job, keep kicking ass. And when you get back to me, whenever that is, it's okay, no pressure, because I don't want to add to your plate. But yeah, it's incredibly challenging to start, film, and then complete it. It's the moving parts are just like mind blowing. And so having that teamwork base and having the people that you trust that can have your back so you could turn your back knowing that everything is going to be taken care of is so essential. And it's amazing when it happens because that's when the magic happens and it's so exciting.
And you work so hard to put this piece, the masterpiece together. Doing
Yeah.
it independently, you have your full vision, your creative control.
Mhm.
Whereas I said I would never someone in the studio. I would do it on my own. I know my creative vision, what I
Yeah.
want my look to look like for
Yeah.
each season, what I want everything to be put into perspective. That's what I like of being independent.
Yeah.
You have that control and it's your
Yeah.
story. You tell it your way.
Yes, without a doubt. And that's I agree that that's exciting, and I feel with technology these days that it allows a lot of people like yourself and like myself that we can achieve our dream our way. And um which pre-technology you really couldn't, because you had to have someone already established. Like when I first went in, I would drive everywhere with my 8x10, and there were no phone calls. You had to show up, drive, give one
Yeah.
picture, hopefully nail your audition. And right there that day, there wasn't any like, oh, here's your sides. It's like, no, like your sides are right now. You got 15 minutes to get ready. Like, oh, so, but now with technology and the freedom to be able to design how you want to look and what your background drop is and where you want to go to. Yeah, it's really fantastic because it shows how many creative people are out there these days.
Yes. And we're now starting to, I mean, well, it's been there ever since the pandemic first broke out.
Yeah.
We're starting to see more and more independent filmmakers
Mhm.
and creators come up with their own
Yeah.
projects, their own
Yeah.
concepts. And casting is different as well too. Whereas before you would do it virtually, but now everything is open back up and we see things, the
Yeah.
normalcy that we've been wanting,
Yeah.
which is being able to go in person and do
Yeah.
casting.
Yeah. And that kind of contact and connection I feel is essential to just people. During COVID when we had to separate. Even having a video call, it was nice, but it's still not the contact and the connection that I feel most people strive for. So now having that open doors again, and where you could meet at a coffee shop or go up to a place, or having that eye to eye, hand to body connection is it's yeah, it's fantastic. It definitely it brings out the fire and the excitement again and the passion that you want to have.
And that a lot of people want to see. They want to be able to go back. Well, everybody's going to the movies
Yeah.
now. They're going to the movies
Yeah.
and they're wanting to be there and experience the feeling that they've always wanted to experience, which is the atmosphere,
Yeah, of
the
course.
reaction of the crowd,
Yeah.
being there in person.
Yeah, it's exciting. Yeah, I on that note, which is really exciting, the film that I did in Spain, from the company As de Mango Productions, called Run Baby Run. Yeah, that's going to be coming out to movie theaters. They're going to premiere it out here, so I'm really excited to hear when and where that's going to happen. But it'll be fun because that's one of my bucket lists, is to be able to go to a movie theater with a movie that I'm in, and so that's going to be really. I'm so excited about that. Walking up and seeing the poster and everything. It's going to be such a great day.
I see a lot of people coming in. Welcome, welcome. Shout outs to Kristen Iris. I did an interview with her and it was
Nice.
amazing. Make sure you guys go and check her out. I'm all about supporting other women of color, the Black
Yeah,
women who are doing the same thing that I'm doing. So shout outs to Kristen. That was amazing. Yeah, make sure you guys go and check that interview out.
nice.
Um, and I see a few other people, Behorn Backman, who I've also interviewed as well too. So let's see a few faces. How does it feel to have your colleagues come in and check out what you've been up to?
It's great. It's like anything, you want to be able to show people that things are happening and moving forward. And so like just our interview right here, this is great because this is something where they get to get a little bit more of a piece than just going to see a credit or something like that. They get to know what's going on in my life, what's going on in your life, personally and professionally. And it's great because it's part of the impact. One of the reasons why I love being an actor is because I get to impact people with the characters that I play. And
Oh yeah.
so I want people to see that things are happening in my professional career. And then when I have an interview like yours, I also get to talk about me and my children or my friends, and that gives them a different perspective of how a little bit more about me and not just about the business. So it feels really good.
And your one of your Scott says he's known you since grade school. So
Scott
it's the
Stellar,
same for me.
yeah.
Even
What up,
people that I
Scott?
went to
Yeah, we
school with,
yeah,
they watch the platform, and that's crazy. I'm like, you watch my platform, you watch Style by Stevie, but I'm just like, it shocks me
yeah,
because it's just like we didn't know you were this outspoken. It's been inside of me somewhere, but people learn a lot more about you seeing that other side, and it's
yeah,
beautiful
yeah,
that they get to see a different side of you.
yeah, without a doubt. It's something that I feel people can connect with because they might have a similar experience or similar upbringing or family or friendship, and knowing that you're not the only one um, is good because back to the impact, if someone's listening and they hear things that we're talking about and it could change their perspective or maybe inspire them to do something different or go after a different direction in their life, then we did our job. And that's exciting to know that we can impact people by just talking back and forth with each other.
Rocket Mama says you can come, you can all come to my place at the beach for the grand opening after party for your film.
Nice, nice. Yeah, tequila, guacamole, and she makes the most amazing guacamole, handmade, and she just made this new cilantro basil, I think, like dip, and she's extremely handy with food. Like she's incredible when it comes to making things. Incredible cook and an amazing person. So thanks, Tina. That'd be awesome.
Yes, her comment tickled me earlier. I was trying to let Cody talk and be professional, but I just didn't want to start cracking and laughing. It made me laugh so much. That's why I was kind of blushing. So, do we have any questions for Cody, you guys? I can't keep him, ladies and gentlemen, but it's always a pleasure catching up. This is his third time coming back to my platform. This is the third interview because the first one we did was during the pandemic, actually, would have been 2022, 2021, 2022, in the midst of it. And then the second one we did it in another month in 2022. And now we're here in 2023. So, that's three altogether. Uh-oh, we lost you, Cody. No sound. Thank you, Scott. I'm glad you guys are enjoying it. And speaking of interview, make sure you guys tune in Monday. Joining me
Okay.
Monday, we have makeup artist Shayla Crayola. She joins me. And you're back. Yes, we can hear you now.
Okay, fantastic. We live in a weird techie world sometimes, so you got to roll with it.
Yes, you went out. I said, oh no, his voice went out. What happened? But Scott says, great interview there, enjoying it. Do you guys have any questions for Cody or
Yeah,
myself?
feel
Because
free.
it's amazing to catch back up. The last interview we did would have been way back when in 2022. And at that time, I think I had blonde hair. Today I got gray
Yeah,
hair. So I'm always changing up.
changing it up. Yeah. Yeah, I think the last one we did was just after I got back from Spain, after doing Run Baby Run, and that's when we did our second one. And so, uh, yeah, and then I remember we talked, let's do it a few months later, and so here we are again, which is great.
And we got a question from Jay Evans. He wants to know, what is your dream role?
My dream role, I have, well, I have two. Well, no, I will narrow it down to one because I can definitely do that. So I would love to play, and I want to be fully decked out 100% in armor and be a knight back in the medieval days. That
Mm,
would be, that's always been a dream role of mine, is to be a knight with like the original Excalibur back in the day, where completely 100% bodysuit and whether that's like mystical medieval, fantasy medieval, I'm okay with any of that, but I just want a full suit of armor. and a real sword and, train for 3 to 4 months prior, getting physically ready and getting all the action down and movement, that would be that would be my dream role.
And that gear is heavy.
Yeah,
I've seen that gear. That gear is heavy,
yeah,
and it's a process.
yeah, yeah. So that would be, but that is also part of the fun. So there's a project that I'm doing coming up, and I get to play that. It's not it's a Predator. It's not the Predator movies. It's going to be the company's name is Jongular Pictures, and the movie's called Amenji, and I get to play Predator, and so I'm going to be in a full body suit, head to toe, and that's going to be pretty exciting because I've never done that before, so that'll be a first time. And yeah, they said you're going to be the prepping takes a couple hours minimum, and they're going to have to size me out and everything. So I'm really excited about that because that'll be a first for me to play that character, and it's an iconic character to play. So I'm really happy about that. That's going to be a fun one.
And Scott wants to know, what role are you most proud of?
Most proud. Okay. It actually it's not a role. It was an audition, and it was earlier on in my career when I was still working my way up. It was at a college up north. It was a student project, and it was a little bit of improv with a direction of dialogue, and I had to cry, and I had never done that before, never been able to cry. And so I got into the audition, and they told me the direction, and I started doing it, and I was just going with it to see what would happen and allow my emotions to take over and vulnerability. And towards the end of it, I completely lost it. Two eyes, like drips hitting the ground. And that would be my most proud moment because that was a huge turning point for me as a male actor, is to be able to cry. So that would be my most proudest.
And being able to go to that vulnerable space for most male actors is difficult.
Yeah.
Whereas, women, we come from an emotional place.
Mhm.
For male actors, it's
Yeah.
different. Having to think back. So what mentally, how was that for you, being able to go into that place that you've never been before? Because when I've watched you in films, you're the tough guy. You're always
Yeah.
fighting,
Yeah.
action, or the
Yeah.
villain type character. But for you, being in this vulnerable place, mentally, what was that like?
It was extremely uncomfortable. And one of the best compliments I got was the panel of casting directors that were watching um, were so surprised that they apologized to me because they felt bad that I, broke down. It took me, I couldn't get in the car for a while. I was so thrown
Wow.
off emotionally and I was rattled that I had to sit in the parking lot for a while and just allow myself to kind of run through all the and I did it again in the car, lost it again. And then I would say probably about an hour after all of that, I was able to start driving. Um, Not 100% confident, but confident enough to get myself back. But yeah, it was rough. It was really rough. I was definitely out of sorts for a while. But it was also incredibly empowering that I knew that I finally found that edge I needed to allow myself to be able to cry. So it was, yeah, it was a very proud moment of mine. Oh, and what's even better, I didn't get the role. So, which is even funnier. But I could give a crap about that. I was so happy that I was able to cry. I was like, I'm good. I got it. I'm happy.
And here we are. Oh, there's another question.
Yeah,
Jay Evans wants to know, would you ever remake any movie? If so, which one would you remake?
that's a great question. Remake. Let's see. Oh, wow. Oh, okay. So, oh, remake. It would, yeah. This, I guess it wouldn't really be a remake, but so I would also another, I guess, remake, but it would be the way that I would want it. So I would absolutely love to play Wolverine, and but but there was an old comic I bought years and years and years ago, and it was something like the dark side of Wolverine when he was in a horrible place and he was just like, gnarly beard and his hair was all jacked up. And that's what I would probably, I guess, from a comic book standard, if I got an opportunity, I would like to do Wolverine in his darkest time of his life. That would be an incredible thing for me to do.
And then kind of go up from there,
Yeah.
where he's with the X-Men and he's fighting. Well, I got the gray hair today. I'd be Storm.
Yeah.
But um, getting there from point A to point B when he's with the
Yeah.
X-Men and seeing it forth. Because I remember watching the cartoon on television, how
Yeah.
the team all came
Yeah.
together from the beginning, from the get-go.
Yeah.
And that was an experience
And
right there.
Hugh Jackman has evolved that character so
Oh, yeah.
much. He's done an incredible job. I mean, his if you look at not only his acting, but how he has physically changed each movie better and better and better to get, because if you're unless you're a comic book character where you're not in shape, and there's a number of those, like if you get a comic book character these days, you have to be in incredible shape. And his evolution, if they did like a still the first all the way through, and he just got so jacked physically. So he's done acting, and also his body is just off the chain.
And I've watched behind the scenes
Oh,
footage of Hugh Jackman
okay.
on behind the scenes on X-Men, and I'm just like, wow,
Yeah.
this is incredible. I couldn't do it, and I know it's strenuous being on set those long
Yeah.
hours, being in character as Wolverine. It's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. No, like for me, what I do, it's kind of funny because people laugh at it first, but then they kind of become a believer. Whatever job I have, wherever I go to, I buy a cooler, and I also have a care package shipped out to whatever address I'm going to be staying at. And it's all my supplements, my protein powders, my drinks, and everything. And on top of the food that they supply, I bring that cooler with me every day to the location. And that's what keeps me really sustained because, as you said, there's a long hours, and sometimes you might not get a break for a while. So that cooler, I just go to. I have like a giant raw nut mix that I put together, multiple bottles of water, different kinds of pre-made protein drinks, and I might only have 5 minutes, and I'll go there and just pound one, and that's been a lifesaver. So that's what's kept me, like when I was in Spain doing that one film, I dropped over 20 pounds during the filming, and that was eating every day, and I ate everything in my cooler every single day because it was such a strenuous job. I could not keep the weight on. And so yeah, so that my cooler has been essential for me if I have to like try to maintain my size somewhat and keep my energy and also my emotions stable. That's my go-to throughout the whole day.
Jay Evans says I can see Cody doing When Harry Met Sally for some reason. That's a romance. Would you ever do that?
Interesting. Yeah, I mean that would be a change because I tend not to get those kind of roles, but yeah, I always like surprising people and doing like I'll be probably cutting my hair coming up pretty soon for a couple roles that I have, and I told the people, when you have long hair as probably a woman too, but most people think that you wouldn't cut it. And so when I get cast into a character, and if I see another character that I really like that doesn't have long hair, but I'm drawn to, once I get to know the people, I always say, hey, just so you know, I'm completely open to cutting my hair, changing how I look. And they're always surprised, like, really, you cut your hair? I said, oh, yeah, in a second. So yeah, I would be down for a romance. I actually did a comedy, so that was kind of fun. My friend, who is also a writer and director named Uriah Howard, did a film, and it was a comedy, and I've only done really intense parts with him, and he said, "Man, I got this character, and I think you'd be so good at it. It's a comedy, a lot of improv. Would you do it?" And I said, "Yeah, totally." And so it was a lot of fun, very different than what I'm used to, but I really enjoyed getting out of what I normally do. So it was a lot of fun. So I'm always open to doing new things and pushing the limits, whether it's comedy or romance, action, adventure, thriller, or just drama in general. It's really fun.
And the transformation process for actors out here, because I remember who was it? It was Christian Bale.
Hmm.
Christian Bale literally had to go and gain weight for a movie role. And when I seen the movie, it's just like, oh my God, he looks
Yeah.
just like the person that he was portraying. And it
Yeah.
wasn't just him, but it was Jared Jared is it Jared Leto?
Oh,
Jared
Jared
Leto,
Leto.
he
Yeah.
had to change his look for a role as well too. He did the Gucci film. So
Okay.
the aesthetic, he looks just like him.
Yeah.
So being able to change for you, do you ever have some input on what you want your character to look like?
Yeah. I usually once I get cast and I get to know, the director and the writer, or producer, and we talk about the background of the character because if they don't have a background, I try to make one up that suits so I could pick up the emotions and the energy of everything I experienced prior to filming. And then, yes, they say, so how do you see this character looking, or how do you visualize physically beard or short hair, long hair? And that is an exciting part because we get to brainstorm a bunch of different ideas of how they see it compared to how I see it, and then we come to a collective, and that's how we make the character. So it's fun, and sometimes I do have a variety of looks. Like whatever I've done, I've always taken pictures so I can show people this is me with short hair, long hair, medium beard, no beard, and that gives them ideas too because like I don't have a symmetrical face, and so when I have facial hair, I'm night and day when I'm clean shaven, and if I had short hair, it's totally different than when I have long hair. And so when I show people these different looks that I can play from pictures I've taken, it's like, oh my gosh, that kind of inspires them to create something a little bit more different. And so that is the fun process though. And then of course taking on all the non-spoken emotions and energy, so when people are watching you, they can pick up on it before you say a word.
Has the has your kids seen you in different characters or different looks? And what were their reactions to it?
Oh, my kids?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I I've sh- I've shown them, a few some things they didn't want to watch because it's hard for them to see me play really brutal, evil people. And they they're other than my mom and my dad and two of my best friends, um, yeah, it's really nerve-wracking. That's probably when I get my most nervous is that if they believe it, I know I did a really great job. And so when my children have seen stuff I've done that's not nice, it's hard for them to watch because they're just like, I can't see, like you're good at it, like you're very believable. And so it's nice, but yeah, it's rough. Like, there's some stuff coming up that I'm going to be doing that's going to be pretty tough for them to watch, but it's impactful, and I'm doing it for that main reason. So yeah, yeah, it's not easy because you never, they know, thankfully they know who I am. They know me as a dad, and they know I'm not that way. But yes, because I bring out that uncomfortable emotions when they watch stuff, it's uh it's a compliment.
And in honor, they go back and they watch it. And you say your mom and dad watched the films
Yeah.
too. Who was it? It was Stephen Dorff.
Oh,
Him and I cannot remember his name. They did a movie together and they had to age him. And he said that his dad watched the film. And he says, I don't look like that, son, do I? So have you ever had to channel your father? And it's just like, okay, history is repeating itself. Has your father ever seen him and say, okay, I don't look like that?
Uh, I've never really, so I'm kind of the black sheep of the family, you know. If you saw my mom, my dad, and my brothers, there might be some like characteristics or mannerisms, but no one's like my color, and it's just like my middle brother's blonde hair and blue eyed. My oldest brother is blonde hair and black eyes, fair skin. So yeah, I haven't really done anything that my dad would say I look like, but I definitely, he was very, you know, grew up in that military. He's very militant in how he parented us. So I have used that, and he has seen some roles that I've done, or even auditions that I've done, where I definitely used him, and he was kind of like, ah. You know, you take credit like being a dad. If my son Colton or my daughter Chandler did something, I'm like, yep, that's me. I take full credit for that one, you know? And so, yeah, there have been a couple times when my dad kind of saw like him in what I was doing, and that's what I do. I use family and friends and in these experiences, and I'm able, or things that I've healed over, like we've talked about it in the past ones where this
Yeah.
is job has been incredibly healing for me, and I'm able to bring it back and use it to my advantage, and then let it go. And so I do. My dad, if my mom, I kind of, if I'm not improvising 100%, then I'm envisioning and embodying multiple people all at once, and I'm picturing them and bringing it into me, and then bringing it out to whatever role I'm doing.
Scott says you were always the odd one.
Thanks, Scott.
And
Yeah,
sometimes your
different.
family will watch the projects and it's just like, wait, I don't do that. Or do I, they kind of see themselves in a character or just you alone. They're just like, it's relatable to them. Has that ever happened for you?
Um, Not yet, only because the stuff I've done has been so intense that I'd either be dead or I'd be in prison, 100%. And so thankfully, you know, my family and friends that see this stuff appreciate that I could be realistic, but they just go, it's scary that you could be that way knowing how you really are. And that's the compliment. So yeah, it works.
The complete opposite. Scott said he loves you.
I appreciate it, Scott.
All right, fashion dolls, do we have any questions before we conclude with Cody? I can't keep him, ladies and gentlemen. I had such a great time catching up with
Yeah,
you. This is our
it,
third interview. We got to set another one up for the books and keep
yeah,
setting them and setting them now.
yeah.
This project is called The Forsaken and it's coming, Forsaken, correct?
So Forsaken Past is going to be happening sometime this year. It's looking like the ones that you'd want to look out for that I are completed would be Run Baby Run with Ez Domingo Productions. That's going to be coming out to theaters, and then it'll be coming out to some type of streaming. And then the other one is a movie made for television. It just premiered in Las Vegas, and it won Best Documentary Feature. Because it's a or yeah, documentary feature because it's based on a true story, but they made it into a film. The filmmaker is Mark Casey, and that one's called Blackskin. And so those would be the two films that are going to be coming out at some point to TV and theaters, and then the rest of the stuff is all going to be happening, of course, as things open up.
All right, so you guys stay tuned for that. Run, Baby Run, The Forsaken. Make sure you guys stay tuned and check them out. Make sure you guys are following Cody as well as myself.
Yeah.
Now, joining me Monday next week, make sure you guys tune in. We have makeup artist Shayla Creola. She is going to be joining me in the dollhouse. And shout outs to my makeup artist here at the dollhouse, Melanie Nalla, my Bridges, for making sure that we are right each and every episode. It has been an amazing week. It's been New York Fashion Week, so the changes have been on point. Thank you, Melanie. Thank you all here at Style by Stevie and everybody for just supporting and coming through and checking out the interview. And Jay Evans says, good interview. Cody has a great energy.
Yeah, thank you so much, Stevie. It was always a pleasure, and I look forward to doing this again. And thanks for everybody for tuning in. I really appreciate the support, and I know Stevie does too. And any questions, even after I'm going to be going back on once this posts, if you want to put questions in the comments, I'll be going over those, and I'm happy to answer any more questions that we didn't cover here. So please do some posting, and then when it comes out, I'll look at it and I could answer the questions for you. But thank you for all the support. I really appreciate it. It means a lot.
Anytime. And I would love to have you back on
Yes, Steve.
again in the
Me too.
future. All right, fashion dolls. Take care, you guys. Today's final word comes from E.E. Cummings. Once we believe in ourselves, we risk curiosity, wonder, spontaneous delight, and any or experience that reveals the human spirit. And that comes from E.E. Cummings. Some words of encouragement to send you guys on your way. I love you all. And make sure you guys tune in next week. I love you all. And Cody, it was great chatting with you.
Great. Thank you, Stevie, so much.
Always. Take care, everyone.